My next guest is going to be taking on Jessica Penne coming up here, UFC Fight Night, October 1st. It's right around the corner. It's Tabatha Ricci joining me here on the program for the very first time. Tabatha, how are you?
I'm awesome. How about you?
I'm doing great, but I'm not fighting October 1st. Just first and foremost, how excited are you to be on the same card as Mackenzie Dern, who I know you train with?
Well, I'm super excited that we are sharing the same card. It's been awesome camp. I feel like we're both ready to go. So I'm super, super excited for the fight day.
Yes, and a new opponent. I mentioned it off the top there, Jessica Penne. You're supposed to fight Cheyenne Vlismas. Was it much of an adjustment in camp preparing for a new opponent?
Same game plan. We just made some adjustment in what Jessica does the most, and everything's ready to go.
Good stuff. And how do you feel like you match up against Penne, a veteran of the sport? She's got 20 fights total. How do you feel like you match up against her?
I really respected Jessica Penne because she was like one of the first strawweights. I think she part of the tough house too. She fought Joanna. She have a lot of experience. So I'm very excited for the fight and very thankful also for her to accept the fight since Warren Princess pulled out. So I can't wait for it.
I mentioned Mackenzie Dern. Who else have you had a chance to train with for this camp that's helping you get ready for this fight?
Well, I'm in training with Piera La Fiera a lot. She's my teammate. Sabina Mazo and Jacqueline is a girl came from Spain to enjoy Black House for a little while. So I'm having a lot of good looks for this camp. So I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And weight cut, I imagine everything's on point because it seemed like you had plenty of notice for this fight, right?
Yeah, I had planned notice for this fight and had been training. I never stopped training, but it's specific for that fight every like 3-4 months. So yeah, everything's on point.
And who's going to be in your corner for this matchup?
Well, for that fight, I will have Franjinha, Ricardo Miller in my corner, Coach Joseph Janik, my boxing coach, and my Muay Thai coach, Coach Julio from Saxons.
When you go into fight week, do you have any like rituals or anything or things that you like doing maybe like that you do during fight week? Like I know some fighters, for example, will like go for like a team dinner the night before. Or maybe they'll, some fighters like bring in their video games with them. Do you have anything like that during fight week?
Well, so I'm bringing a lot of people with me, actually. My mom that I live here, one of my best friends, and I just want to have a good time, my strength conditioning coach, my wrestling training partner. So I just want to be around other people that help me get through the camp, and it's very special for me. So maybe have some good talk, a good food after weigh-ins, and it just look for good vibes.
How important is that to have the right people around you during fight week to give you that good energy? I know a lot of people believe in that. I imagine you do as well.
I think that's very important, especially for our mental prepare, so you need to have the right energy around you to keep like focus on the fight.
Well said, well said. Jessica's a very tough girl to finish. How do you see this fight playing out? How do you see this one going down on October 1st?
Well, I'm ready for everything. So I really look to the fight. It will be finished with a knockout or a submission. So I don't think it can go for 3 rounds.
Yeah, who wants to fight longer than they have to, right? you want to go out there and get the finish, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Obviously, at the top of your division, we have that title fight coming up between Weili Zhang and Carla Esparza. As a fellow strawweight, how do you see that fight playing out? I was curious.
Well, everybody thinks that the last fight in Carla and Rose was kind of boring fight because not much happened. I think Carla was more playing with the rules and strategically. I don't know how she's going to do against Weili. Weili is super aggressive, and if she doesn't care, she just go forward for the kill. So I think Weili will get this belt back. So, but we'll see what happens. No fight can happen anything. I'm
trying to remember, how many more fights do you have left on your contract? Do you know?
I just fighting for my second contract now.
That's awesome. Okay, well, that must feel good that the UFC's investing in you, right?
Yeah, I figured. I'm feel good that they trusting my work, and then I was gonna give 100% of my work back to them.
I saw on your Instagram you skateboard. How long have you been doing that?
Actually, I play a little bit in Brazil, but I have been more skating since I moved to California. That skate vibe, the surfing. So I have a lot of friends that I hang out that go to skate. So I just got more into skate, maybe like 4 years that I've been skating here.
That's awesome. Do any other fighters that you train with, do they skateboard as well?
More of my jiu-jitsu friends.
Okay.
Most of them skate, so we go out for surfing skate sometimes.
That's awesome. And you were on one of my favorite podcasts a few months ago, Ashley Evans Smith, Sex and Violence. I know it's a very like, I love the podcast because it gets the fighters to open up and stuff. And trust, like a guy couldn't host that podcast. It has to be a girl because it just would come off completely different. But how is it getting to open up like that? Because Ashley does such a good job with their interviews.
Yeah, I love Ashley. Actually, we train together at Black House. We just training together this Tuesday. She's such a good girl, and I've been part of her podcast. Actually, it's pretty funny, and I had a lot of fun with her.
Did you get new fans from that podcast? Because I know it's a different audience, right?
I think so. It's hard to track the fans, where they come from, but yeah, for sure, I got some fans from there.
That's great. And are you watching anything right now on Netflix? Are you watching any TV right now?
I'm not watching much movie right now. I'm like, actually, I love to watch movie, but I'm not having so much time for that now. So I'm most like focused on my sleep and the trainings now. I really do some meditations and yoga sometimes. So I'm focused more on that right now.
Okay, so naps, probably going to the beach. I know we see that on your Instagram, and then skateboarding.
A lot.
Yeah, those are the big things, right?
Super exciting to watch the DCC this weekend. Actually, that's
nice.
the thing that I'm going to stop to watch that for sure.
That's great. Yeah. Do you think you'll do any more submission, things outside of the UFC?
Well, I have been getting some calls to fight some super fights in jiu-jitsu. I would love to, but when I do something, I really want to do like to win and to be the best. And I think to focus on two things right now, it's super hard, And so I decided to focus on my UFC belt first, and then we'll see what happens after.
Awesome. Tabatha, thanks so much for doing this. We're looking forward to the fight. It's October 1st, UFC Fight Night. If there's anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors or any social media you want to plug, I'll give you the last word.
Okay, I want to do a shout out for my family, friends, my teams, my gyms, Paragon, Knucklehead, Saxons, wrestling, Black House, Bruca, everyone that has been helping me on this camp. My sponsors, Robert, Dopamine, Athletic CBD. Thank you very much for trusting my work. And thank you, James, for having me here today.
Make sure to subscribe to the Low Kick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.